बस Yeah, we can start with the panel discussion. Yeah. So the mayor is going to take just a guided tour. That is why the people at the stall are there, but they'll be back. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharayu. Sharayu has been busy since morning, and please give a round of applause for her efforts.
Thank you.
To put things together. And one more time, I congratulate all the three winners, Kabna, Neha, and Sneha. And I'm pleased to have my co-moderator, Mr. Bojkar, with me, Krishna Bojkar, and Mohini ji has traveled all the way from Sambhaji Nagar, and she is playing dual role, like as the president of IMTMA as well as the director of Grindmaster. So in this panel discussion, first of all, I would like to have, I will take a cue from what Neha said during her presentation. All the three presentations were brilliant, amazing presentations. A lot of insights which I have noted down also in my diary. She said something about you may not be the loudest person in the room. So I will not be the loudest person. Also, she mentioned, which we need to remember, ask the right questions. So we have prepared some questions, but both Mr. Bojkar and I have a habit of asking questions which are not in the syllabus. So I hope you are okay. So with this, I request Mr. Bojkar to start the questions. What we will do is we'll also take few questions from the audience if the time permits. So please keep it in mind and keep it ready. I'll hand it over to Mr. Bojkar.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, congratulations to all of you. We have gone through a lot of presentations right now, and we have understood how the landscape of technology is changing. So my first question will be to Kamana, since you mentioned a lot of things which are happening in AI, ML, and so on and so forth. We will so come to the top level, what is happening, try to understand a bit. So according to you and whatever you have been doing now, how do you see the whole landscape of AI is emerging? And the data analytics, and you also mentioned very specifically that data cleansing or data correctness or completeness. So can you just elaborate a bit on that? Because that is something which will be the base for all the things that are going to be done ahead. So I'd like to start with you.
Sure, thank you. So you're right. First thing I think which is very important is with AI, the mindset of fear has to go off. That's the first fundamental thing. Second is we try to, as you said, right, we try to solve problems of manufacturing with AI, but the core problem of data itself can be solved with AI. So that's something that we did. So what we did is we, first and foremost, when I say AI, I'll take you through the various areas, not going too technical, but so we worked around AI, machine learning, Gen AI, and even agentic AI. So right now we are in our junction in our organization, even having agentic AI in our ecosystem. But yes, the use cases will differ depending on the risk appetite, and secondly, depending on the cost and integration. These are critical elements to consider, and the skill of the people who are going to use AI. That's also absolutely important. So I'll give you an example. The first thing that we did is used AI to have data correlation and data cleansing activity, which she rightly said. Sensors used to capture a lot of data. If I really used to say 3 years back, I used to say we used to go back and have meetings with data owners to explain them what to capture from the sensor. today the point is, and I'll go back to your point, Mohini ji, is that people still do not have on the ground that understanding, and that's where AI can help, because even if they collect everything, AI can in minutes cleanse it for you. So we can actually be optimal drastically by using the basics of AI and machine learning models. The second step is the entire data lake that we had in our ecosystem today, which I talked about, is the factory cloud. So in the factory cloud, we used to have, as you know, in Volkswagen, we have a factory cloud for all of the plants that we have globally. Now we call it as DPP, production planning cloud, and all of this cloud now we are getting in data, we are getting it AI ready. So which means a very important technology that people miss between AI and digital transformation, and I'll talk about that, is the correlation of data. And that was a very helpful technology called as knowledge graphs, which we implemented. How we implemented it? So for example, in quality space, we already have a solution of AI for doing material mapping. So today, material information, quality material information across plants is never in one system. So there is plant systems, there are other systems in the ecosystem. So we build up a GenAI based chatbot, which helps the quality engineer to look at all of the material information, use a knowledge graph, and it helps you to correlate the material information, and then recommends the quality engineer what is the closest material match. And you will be astonished in the time reduction that we have achieved. But I'll also call that out. It doesn't mean that the quality engineer lost his job. Quality engineer became smarter because he knew how to use a ChatGPT version of quality for their ecosystem. Second, however, it was still, I will still say it is not a very cost effective, because AI advanced technologies is very costly. If I talk about AI and ML, they are still affordable in the industrial space we are in. But if we talk about agentic AI, it is a very expensive technology. Today, nobody can capture the ROI of it because the infrastructure cost is too high. But yes, it definitely brought out the time efficiency, effort efficiencies that was looked on. So that's one area I would say. The second one is around sustainability. So we have pressure control. While predictive maintenance has been a journey through all, but now we are making it again with a context of being AI enabled, where it is not only predicting, we are making compressor planning automatically. So compressors on its own, there can be a daily plan that can be made. All of the intelligence of system and the historical information of how the plant has been running, we have been able to demonstrate that as well. So these are a couple of solutions we have implemented in the manufacturing space, but also in the space of IT, like data, because that is absolutely necessary. And I think the main thing we have to focus while we do this transformation, I don't call this as digital transformation, I say it as, industrial intelligence is the way, but it is also to me a lot of advancements from a skill standpoint today that is needed. And I want to share that last year when I started my journey of the AI strategy, it was never only production and planning. It was the entire ecosystem. It was even IT, it was even HR, it was even finance in that ecosystem. So it is, and for them also to understand AI is equally important. So we in our organization last year started a massive upskilling program for all of the people, and almost 100% of our people, technical, non-technical, know at least level 0 of AI. We did it obviously with our digital partners, IIT Madras Digital Pravartak arm. But that was one of our first step of making people elevated while we kept the technology elevation and the problem statement solving at the same time. So I'll say it is a disruptive technology. And it is very important everybody looks at those opportunities in their work to use AI. It will not make you obsolete. It will amplify your intelligence. It will not take away your actual intelligence. Thank you.
I think you summarized it quite well. Going ahead, because the base, what she mentioned is not getting scared of the technology, but then try to use and augment the technology to make maximum utilization and optimization of the work that you're doing. And I think that is going to be the baseline. Second, you mentioned very important is doing the trainings and continuous learning. That is a process which has to be imbibed by every organization. Unless and until you reach to each and every department, as you said, as well as each and every person within that department, you will not get the maximum benefit out of the transformation that you are trying to look for. So I think very well explained by you.
And that's so true. She said, some time back said, no, process understanding is important. So we, in fact, even have a chatbot which says how processes are linked in the manufacturing and how the one change process is affecting another process. So even for process engineering you can use. So the possibilities are huge. What you need to identify is what to solve first.
Absolutely. Understanding the value where the process will yield the maximum results is going to be the crux of the thing. And that is where I think the domain experts have to add a huge amount of value based on their experience. And coupled with the tools, they can bring huge amount of value. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kamna. And in fact, your articulation gave a new definition for me to AI. AI is artificial intelligence. You said accomplished intelligence, because I had heard about acquired intelligence as well as augmented intelligence. So these are various definitions of AI. I'll come to the most important three letters in corporate world is ROI, right? These are the most three important letters. I'll come to Neha and ask you this question about how do you measure the success of these digital transformation initiatives, and especially related to the ROI.
When any transformation initiative is started, the first thing is to think. The first thing is to think. And when I say think, it needs to align to a business ambition. What most of the time happens is we see a problem, we start using some technology to go ahead and solve it. And the business value realization is typically either productivity or some process improvement somewhere or some hours saved. But that's where the think aspect of the framework comes in, wherein you really sit down and look at what is the business ambition, and then lay down what are the 5-6 initiatives that align with that particular business ambition. And then sit with cross-functional experts so that each stakeholder understands, okay, this is how life will change for me, for my people. And they realize, okay, this is the ambition, this is the overall ambition, or this is the North Star that we are, aligning with. And just to give a small example, I mean, cost of quality has always been a metric that we look at, especially in this sector. So instead of saying, okay, we want to lower the cost of quality, right? What's the root cause behind the cost of quality? And what are the measures that we need to take to make sure that cost of quality, goes down? So then again comes back to process, why cost of quality happens, because we don't build to the intended design, right? So how do we fix the root cause behind that? Who all needs to be involved? How do we make sure that R&D, engineering, and in the shop floor, manufacturing, quality, all of these have processes and systems that are sort of interoperable with each other. And that's how then you will see, okay, for example, R&D built a brilliant design, it got approved. Now it needs to go on the floor. But are we making sure that the changes are delivered to the manufacturing operators on time? Do they have the correct revisions to make the changes? Because if they are building to an older revision, when it goes to a customer location, it will get rejected. You will have rework, you will have delayed shipments, and so whatever fancy CAD tools that you may have brought in for a great digitized design process will not work, because ultimately the rubber never hit the road. You don't make money out of it. So that's where the ROI process comes in, that, which business ambition does it align with? And are we really looking at the process? Are we making the process lean, doing away with all the waste before we digitize, making sure that, the approved intended design reaches the person who will assemble and manufacture the product? That approved intended design reaches the quality inspectors who will, then inspect based on whatever the instructions were. And then it goes to customer. So that's like one example. Key is that you align with the business ambition. You look at what is it that we are trying to, fix, and then think with everyone what is the ROI, how it will come through, and how we will make everybody, accountable towards that end goal, so that we don't solve problems in silos. That, engineering design is very manual, so let's automate it. But then people who need to make it are not, equipped or educated enough yet. So how do we do that cross-functionally? And that's how the ROI then ultimately comes in. That's how people, when they sit together, then they think, okay, what I do impacts this function. So let's, fix this. These are the trends. If we make this improvement, this ROI will come. And then moving to the next level and the next level. So it's more about that thinking and, alignment that helps in getting that ROI. And then when we execute, it ultimately results in.
Okay, good. I think we saw two most important things. One is getting the technology perspective and where it can help. Second, why should you do it? Because it is ROI. But then still we find companies having problem in implementation. So Sneha, coming to you, I'd like to understand, having said that the technology is available, we know where I can use it and how I can get ROI. Still I feel that there are a lot of impedances or challenges when implementing the smart manufacturing or industry 4.0 or digital transformation. Where do you see these impediments, or where are the real challenges sitting?
The real challenge, I would specifically talk about manufacturing organization where there is a legacy systems. And do we say the challenge is really the legacy system or legacy culture or legacy thinking? What it is? What's the real challenge? It's culture and thinking. I think that's where when we have legacy thinking, how do we change the culture in the organization and really drive what we want to achieve through digitization? There will always be a problem that this is how we were doing till now, and that's the correct process. And how do we break that? That's where the involvement at the right time and enabling that their own problems will get solved. Unless and until we involve right people at right time, the acceptance of the system, even after the rollout, would not be there. And while there is no acceptance, sustenance cannot be dreamed at all. So, not to focus really on legacy systems, but to change the culture. If the attitude is right, skill can be developed. And how do we focus that? I think that's where we need to focus if we have to really move on the digitization journey. Most important is beyond the culture part. Again, we had very nice discussion on the ROI, where you want to prioritize. Not all problems are to be solved, and not all problems are common across industries, Manufacturing has to really focus on their own hardcore areas. IT may have to solve on some other vertical. FMCG may need to focus on other. So when we just run behind digitization, what is needed for my industry, what is needed for my organization, what is my current problem, and where do I really prioritize? I think if we choose wrong, if we prioritize wrong area, again, there is a big challenge.
Great. I think if I take these three ladies, whatever they have talked about, we'll be able to summarize starting from saying that mindset, starting with that. Second, we come to the next step is finding out the domain experts who are knowing their real problems, what they need to solve on priority. Then we have where the ROI is going to come in, and then what kind of technologies we can actually pack in to make this whole thing functionally available, where finance can say, yes, please go ahead. So I think this sums up a pretty good understanding about how companies should approach. Most of the cases which we have seen is that the approach to people, not the technology, has to be the central focus, is what we understand. Correct. So thank you. I'd like to.
Yes, I mean, that actually gives a good cue to me to ask a question to someone. We are very privileged to have Mohini ji with us because here is an entrepreneur who started their journey in 1984, and today it is one of the global companies, Grindmaster, which is based out of Sambhajinagar, and they are exporting their machines to developed countries and also to China, which is very interesting. The technology going back to China is very interesting, and also they have ventured into robotics for the industry. So I would like Mohini ji to explain. I have read a book which is about their journey from garage to global, and it is one of the best books to read if you are an engineer and you're in manufacturing. I would request Mohini ji to briefly explain the journey of Grindmaster right from 1984 to now, from garage to global.
Okay. Yeah. I think it is a little diversion from the topic. Hello? Can you hear? You can do this. No, it's on actually. Hello? Yeah. Little diversion from the topic of IoT, Industry 4.0, AI, etc. But yes, she spoke about the culture and the mindset, right? So this book exactly talks about garage to global. It is not globe. You know why? Because globe is a place, garage is a place, whereas global is a mindset, and garage is again a mindset. You get the point. So my son, when he wrote the book, we had good discussions about our journey. We started literally in a garage with rupees 25,000 investment way back in 1984, and then we actually our idea was to develop something which is not done in India before. Simple. Because we didn't want to fight with others for every penny, that a very simple idea, right? So we were willing to work hard to develop a product which will be unique, and so we made polishing machines, starting with cookware polishing, and then Bajaj being in Aurangabad, we went on developing machines for automotive, and which was a very good challenge for us, and automotive always wanted more and more new technologies and higher automation. So we left our initial business of cookware and focused on automotive. So we went on developing machines for automotive, for finishing, also because it was a very demanding thing, and nobody in India makes finishing machines. So the process was completely unknown. No engineering college will teach you buffing, polishing and finishing processes. So the process topic is very close to my heart, because right from the day one, our business is dependent on the process. And then we realized that the processes adopted in Indian industry are not sturdy enough to get the same finish every time. So we went abroad, we went to Germany and US, we saw how they are doing it, and not only got those processes here but improvised on that. So today Grindmaster has about 20 patents on micro finishing. So and I mean, some of them are global patents. I wish to mention here that we should not be behind in applying for the patents and straight away go for global patent, because our ambition was always to supply to the globe. Even when we were too small, we used to dream of our machines installed in some XYZ factory in Germany, and finally I think with all our efforts this dream came true. We in fact are exporting everywhere in the world, including advanced countries like US, Canada, Germany, and he mentioned about our office in China. Yes, so we started selling to China in 2009. It was a boon because there was a worldwide recession. And so we thought that this is our chance, and in China we are not really competing against Chinese. I wish to mention here that when people say low-cost country, India, I really don't like it. I hate it. We are not low cost. We should be adding value. And if we offer value, then it is a real export to my mind. And precisely that is what Grindmaster did. We tried to sell the higher end machines, the technology machines, competing with Germans and Japanese. Don't be afraid of them. Like, you can take them head on. In fact, we got the first order from General Motors, not due to the price, but because we accepted their challenge. All people are from the industry, so I can say that the setup change for crankshaft micro finishing from one job to another traditionally used to be 1.5 hours. And General Motors said, we want in our line only 45 minutes setup change time. The German counterparts, they were Germans. They arrogantly said, not possible. And we know the best. And we said, no, we will make it. We will make it for you. Then we made a very small prototype, which was carried physically to China, General Motors China, and we showed them, this is our idea. Now, this is how we are going to do it. And we backed that order. And after that first machine, of course, it was very challenging. Generating idea and innovation is okay. But when it comes to really putting it in General Motor plant, accepting their terms of product liability, for example, my machine stops even for a minute, they would charge me thousands of dollars. If it is stopping for a day or two, my company will be washed out. we were not a big company, you know. I mean, such product liability claims we accepted, but we made it success with sleepless nights. Of course, there has to be hard work. There is no other option. But we subsequently supplied 20 machines to General Motor plants worldwide, including Korea, Mexico, etc. Yeah, so I mean, our story, he feels, is very inspiring, and also because we also supplied to Japan. I think it is all mindset. You said it. So, I mean, we just wanted to do it. That's it. And then do whatever it takes. So, we wanted to supply to a Japanese auto OEM in Japan. We did sell machines to Toyota in India, Nissan in India, etc., Honda and all. But we said, if they are buying our machine in India, why not in Japan? I mean, we have to think about it. So, we hired a Japanese guy. Straight away, a small company like us, but it was a mindset. We wanted to do it. That's it. If we want to sell to Nissan in Japan, we will sell. So that was a thing connecting with your mindset idea, and that is how selling in Japan. And in Japan, not even European machines are there in that line, because Japanese are so much patriotic. They want only their Japanese machines. But we sold again. Why? We took up a challenge. This was a new line wherein the new job and new finish requirement was there, which others didn't want to attempt. They thought it's difficult, may not be possible. We said, send the jobs to us, we will test it. And we developed the tooling required for doing that job. So when I said the process, it is indeed very important. I'm not saying AI is not important, but the processes are really very important. And unless we work on that, our manufacturing cannot grow. You do whatever AI, etc., but we have to hardcore engineering processes, the hardcore engineering, the designs, the tool design is very, very important. We should not lose a track of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, since I know this Grindmaster story because I've been associated or I've been interacting with her for decades, there is one story which I would like to tell the audience, and without naming the person, but they started in 1984. And today we are actually celebrating Women Leader Awards, and that's why I'm telling this story. In 1987, one of the mechanical engineering student, fresh pass out from Government College of Engineering, Sambhajinagar, she came for an interview. And they asked her to work on the shop floor. It was unheard of, those times. You were the only engineer from VJTI batch, right? She joined Grindmaster as her first job, and today she is heading one of the large Dutch companies, engineering, Philips, and she was with Cummins earlier. So I just wanted to tell that by giving the opportunity to a young engineer to work on the shop floor, it has actually made a difference. So please give a round of applause again. And you said rightly for the mindset and culture.
Yeah, that is true. So the essence we are coming to is, bottom line is understanding the mindset that we can do better. And this was one of the things how PTI started. So in fact, that's a small story where we said that we used to do a lot of planning, and we received planning for German plans were received. I rejected them, and there was a big discussion. Why? Where I said, no, these layouts I can't agree. And we showed them the layouts could be made better. So the Indian people, this is one very important thing, because most of the cases, we have certain historical background why we are so much, kind of think that others are better than us. Sorry, that is not true. We also can be better. Yeah. So this is one mindset which I'd like to really throw out of the window and say, sorry, we can be better, we are better, and we are proving those things to the world. That is how the PTI in GCC started already. Coming to this thing that, okay, mindset and looking at the challenges which are coming up with the advent of technology and changes that with the rapidity with the technology is changing. Kamana, how are you in a position to meet these challenges? What are the challenges you face day in, day out? One, you also mentioned very important was talking to all the stakeholders and getting up to the level where they are in a position to accept and adapt and adopt. Yeah, first they have to adapt and then adopt. What are the challenges that you face typically?
I think most of the challenges have spoken already, the mindset challenges. I would say a very important aspect with respect to challenges is looking at it as opportunities. So I always feel you need to be bold. And as she said, maybe not the strongest voice, but having a voice on the table is very important. And since you shared the German story, I'll share mine as well. When I came into this organization from obviously a lot of Tata background, the first program in the 3 months, I got an opportunity to work with on a global top 1 program from the group. And that's where I understood that it's not important just to be there, but also to have the voice on the table and be bold enough to call it out, right? It's not just that I'm in a forum or in a global forum representing the topic. it is also, you have to be bold enough to put your ideas across. So the first challenge that comes, at least in a global context, is the mindset about India being, as you rightly said, low cost, hard working. But I think we've changed that now. The generation today are becoming smart workers, and they are vocal enough to put their points across. So that is there, that we need to be important with this. We need to be ready with this challenge of challenging what is happening in the ecosystem. And I think you talked about your journey very well. Once we are determined, once we have put our voice on the table, there will all, and in innovation, one thing which is very important, right? Alignment is not needed actually. Because if you align, you will not think different. So it's true in manufacturing floor with departments, but when you have to do innovation in a space, it's very important. And coming back to your point, ma'am, that determination, and very important is to find the differentiator. If you have a differentiator, your challenges become opportunity for you. So the people there, or the systems or the processes which look challenging, you overcome them very easily. Cost will definitely be always associated with India. But I think we are moving that mark of coming in with intelligence, determination, and a sense of pride of doing it here. Right? I think that has come very strong for us now, and that's why we are not able to, we are not able to see those, as I said, the challenges as challenges. We are looking at that as an opportunities. So I think cost is overused aspects today. We have to be costly, but believe me, if you find a value, people will pay money. So I always feel value, innovation, as she rightly said, value in operations, efficiencies that we are bringing in is absolutely important. And as a women, we bring value in the mindset also. I was just talking to her as well. The biggest change for us is we have to prove our points across at every forum that we are in. But I think, again, I say, it's an opportunity. It's not really a challenge.
I think this is one aspect what you said.
It's unconstrained thinking.
Exactly. And obviously you are put up in such a way that every time you need to prove yourself. It itself means that you are made tougher every time.
I was telling her
how I see it. Yeah.
We actually face something called as, right now, initially it was like, as we said, we start our journey as one woman in the floor. I was like one woman in the data center. So that time it was more about being heard, challenge. But now I think at every forum, even if you are at a boardroom, you have to build that credibility back again. But if you know your subject matter, if you have the grit, if you have the commitment, you have the voice bold enough, you would pass through that as well.
Well said, very, very well said. I have already recommended one book to you for reading, is From Garage to Global, The Grindmaster Story. Second book I would recommend is Sheryl Sandberg of Facebook. She has written a book, Lean In, which is great for women leaders to, aspiring leaders to read.
I'll just add, that is very important. Ask for help. This is also very important. I'll share, yesterday we had an opportunity to meet Kiran Bedi, and I read her Fearless Governance story. So we as women are strong, but we also have the vulnerability to lean in, which is the biggest differentiator for us, because we lean in, we ask for help, we also understand and listen perspectives, we adapt easily. So these are some qualities that we bring on the table when some challenging situations come in. So I think those are very, very important elements in. And I always say, as a code IT person, before debugging, code debug yourself. So that's very important.
That's again well said. Sneha, my question to you is, what inspired you to move into the technology and digital role within the industry? And I'll come to with the same question to Neha also. What inspired you to get into these roles?
So for me, really, again, I would repeat the same statement that moving into technology or engineering was definitely not a planned move. it was a move. I started my first job in 1999, and just to share to the audience, traveling 60 kilometer one way, 120 kilometers a day to do the job on the Gamba, making the HVAC assemblies. So that's how I started my career. What inspired me is, I started my career in the organization which was formed in 1999, a joint venture with Germany, 60-40 joint venture. The first company having JV and aiming to supply air conditioning system to Tata Motor. Joined in the organization with 35 employees, and 11 years organization moved from making 10 HVAC per day to 3,000 HVAC per day. While I entered in the organization, 1999, I think even mobile phones were not there. The inspiration came from what problems will come on the shop floor and how do you want to solve. While you solve the problem, you have to really be tech-oriented and try to close loop the problem, not only just, take a shortcut. So, have done lot of mistakes, failures, but learn from mistake, never repeat the mistake. I think that's where it triggered. One last point, initial 10 years in the organization while it was just growing, every role which was starting, there is no handover from anyone. We were starting the vertical, and I was getting chosen first person to start the function. So how do I build, how do I learn, and creating the own leadership team. One good thing, our win is not because of us. It's because of others. And I really owe to the mentors and the supporters. Mentor will guide you, but you need to have supporter who can advocate for you. So I was being very, very fortunate to have the mentor and the supporter who really trusted me and pulled me. But this was not one way. The traffic is always two way. You need to have your performance currency and the relationship currency. So the performance currency will make you visualize, but the relationship currency will take you to the next level. So that's the inspiration on the engineering in the automotive industry, being on the Gamba, taking the different profiles, taking the challenges. You cannot be 100% expert in all the areas. You cannot. But take a risk, have the courage, even if you are at 70%, have the attitude towards learning. That's the inspiration.
Very nicely said, very well said. Yeah, thank you so much. Neha, what was your inspiration, or what inspired you to move into these roles?
So my journey was not a very set path. So as a student, I was academically very bright, and there was an opportunity way back in 2002 by the Government of India to join a fellowship program with the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research for all the board toppers of the country, across the top 10 or top 15. I said, maybe I don't want to do this. And I went into electronics and telecommunications engineering. 4 years down the line, that was the norm back in India. Everybody used to go into the software industry. So I became a software engineer at Satyam, August of 2006. From an electronics telecommunication background to a 3-month training into Java programming. And then I was put into a project which was to design the legal entity registration process for the largest hedge fund in the world. That was the first task. And as I was building those screens, for the legal entity registration, I was very curious. I am a very curious person. I was like, okay, I'm building these screens. How does it matter? Who cares? Where does this make a difference? What will someone do with these screens? What will it really, result in on the ground? And then, I think I did that for a year. And then I was like, okay, we build these softwares, but how do we make money? Right? So I wanted to understand how a software business typically runs. So I went to one of the mentors, and he was looking for a role to help him with the pre-sales function across domains. So manufacturing, telecommunication, travel, logistics, everything. And he said, well, for those who know about the software industry, you have this concept of whether you're billable or you're not billable. So he said, but this will be a non-billable role. So I'm like, okay, but I will learn. I will learn how this industry makes money, how this whole IT revolution really works. So I am on board. I said yes. It was a risk. All my friends, they said, you're going crazy, just do this, and then move to the next level, next level, next level. I was like, no, I don't want to build these screens for the rest of my life. So I moved there and then did that pre-sales role for a couple of years, and then went on to, do higher studies. Because I've been fortunate to get parents who said, you need to be a postgrad, only then can you think of marriage, There is no hurry to get married, be on your own feet, be independent. So went on to do my MBA at NMIMS Mumbai, and then got picked up in GE in their IT leadership program. And one, very insightful moment where I say that you need not be the loudest voice in the room. There is a lot of pressure in the placements in these B schools, right? You have day -7, day -10. So we had the GE process on day -10. It was among the first, among the top companies that would come. And it was a stress GD at 8 in the night. 15 people, 10 minutes. You're given a topic, cloud computing. I was the only woman in that room. And for the first 6-7 minutes out of the 10, everybody was screaming, trying to put their thought across, what is cloud computing, what it does, what it doesn't do. And then with this voice of mine at I think the 5th or 6th minute, I just went in and summarized, okay, this is what we discussed, but the topic is it a boon or a bane? So let's talk about where all it is a boon, where we need to be careful, so that, at a social level, at a country level, it can help progress our own nation. And then 2-3 more interjections, and I was the only one who qualified to the next round. So that helped me understand that you need not be the loudest person in the room. What you really need to bring to the table is clarity. And then, of course, in GE, moved across different IT business kind of roles, right from finance to engineering to supply chain to manufacturing. Did remote warehouse solution implementations in remote corners of the world. Cross-cultural exposure was great. But the element remains, wherein how well you can connect with people, how well you can connect with what they face day to day. Because, I'll give you an example. We were implementing an ERP, and you sit with the finance team. They will say, and you ask them, what is your problem? They will say, okay, I need a dashboard that can tell me, how well my collections have been over the past quarter, one quarter to another. And but then you need to educate them a little more, show them what's possible with technology, so that the mindset changes. Okay, how can I collect better? How can I make my collection process faster? Because that impacts bottom line in companies. That's just one example. So the intent there is, when you create that alignment, how do you help your stakeholders think? Because day to day, everybody is so busy in their jobs that they may not be able to think what they really need. It's just about what problem they are facing day in and day out. So what is the art of, what are the possibilities with technology? That's one of the things that, has helped me. That's where your innovation comes in, out of the box thinking comes in. So as you see, my journey has been a zigzag. And once I did all of this, there was an opportunity in 2019 when the merger happened between Wabtec and GE to lead the IT M&A exit, to exit from GE systems and merge into Wabtec systems. I had no clue about how data centers work. I had no clue how networks work, how, on-prem, cloud, everything. And that role came up, and one of the mentors who was also a leader at that time said, "Do you want to do this?" I said, "Yeah, why not? This will help me understand that part of IT, on how to run IT like a business for the business, which I've never done before." It was drinking from a fire hose. It was trying to understand the legal language of what, how you exit from one system, one company's systems and applications and merge into the other. But what that really helped me with was, again, asking the right questions, bringing in these, trusting the experts, and then trying to connect the dots, looking around corners on what would really make a difference, on what the goal is, what the ultimate ambition is. So 2-3 things that have shaped my journey. I don't have a comfort zone. Be okay to take risks. Be a learner always, because and that takes humility, because that takes a lot of humility. And there are failures, there are lessons learned along the way. But at the end of the day, it makes you, stronger, sharper, and there is that fulfillment when you take that alignment and people along to, accomplish a certain goal.
That's an interesting point. No comfort zone, and being curious. Being curious is so important. Since, as I have mentioned initially, that this is towards the end of the panel discussion now, it will be few minutes only. Since Mohini ji is here with wearing 2 hats, one as Grindmaster and another as the Indian Machine Tool Manufacturers Association's president. So, Bojkar, you would like to ask a question about that?
Yeah, exactly. Because these 2 hats are going to be in that expertise which you have built and the kind of knowledge that you have gained. How or what kind of changes would you like to do in the IMTMA? Because the essence is these machine tools are nothing but what we call as mother tools. They build the next machines.
Yeah.
So if these machines itself are in a position to bring to the next level, then you would be expecting the next changes. So this machine, so mother tools, how would you think that we can bring them to the next level?
Yeah.
What are your
Yes.
actions that you would think that you would like to take it?
Yeah, very nice. So I took president. I'm incidentally the first woman president of IMTMA. I think for that matter, any machine tool organization worldwide, because I went in September and I just curiously asked whether there was any woman president of Sesimo and Uchimu, which are equivalent of IMTMA in Germany and Italy. They said no. So I take it as I am the first one. The benefit of doubt. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, indeed. See, I mentioned some figures. So when you say that manufacturing is going to grow, what exactly will be the benefit for Indians as Indian persons? So when we think from the machine tool perspective, in IMTMA, I initiated lot of discussions around this, that what is getting imported, and the import is increasing every year. And so currently it has gone to 60% of machinery is imported in India. There are multiple aspects of it. For example, companies like Hyundai from Korea, they get all the equipment from Korea. Not only that, and we allow them to do that, very sadly. So as a president of IMTMA, I'm also putting up these facts to the ministries like Department of Heavy Industries, Commerce Ministry. I get a chance to talk to them, and I openly tell them that government also should make some policies which will promote the Indian goods, Indian capital goods. The fact still remains that our public sector is still not not supporting Indian machine tools, sadly. They ask us 1,000 questions, whereas a German is not asked. His equipment is straight away given the first priority or preference. So the priority for the Indian capital goods in PLI schemes, for example, these are the various things we are trying to do through IMTMA. And most importantly, I'm trying to run an initiative of reliability engineering. So I felt that where exactly our machines, there are two things where there is a gap. We have done detailed gap analysis, in fact, for Indian machine tools and benchmarking against a German or a Japanese, Mazak or Makino, for example. And it is clear that in terms of precision, we are falling short. So when it comes to precision parts, when precision parts are made, I'm not talking about Grindmaster because our story is different. We are in a niche. We are not in the mass manufacturing. But the machining and the grinding processes, when it comes to precision, the preference is to the Japanese and German machines. So we have to fill this gap, number one. So we are certainly making multiple attempts, like even hiring the foreign experts within our companies to upgrade our technologies, upgrade our designs, and then apart from precision, I realized that the reliability aspect is missing. So reliability means I said the first part and the 1 million part should be same, come what may. This does not happen with the Indian machines, is what is the feedback. So we have to work on the reliability aspect, which is a big aspect. It starting from the design to the execution, the meticulous execution, to the supply chain, because many times the failures are from the subsystems, like coolant system or the controls. They're not integrated properly. There are multiple issues like that. So holistically bring them together and run a reliability engineering, kind of initiative. These are the two things which I would like to take up. And another thing is again coming to the mindset. Our country, if we are to do all this, we have to change our mindset from the service to the product. We are still a service nation. Even in IT, you take it as a back office work. What is original that you are doing? Come on. I mean, you have to do some original product. If you take any product in any area, you see that the product design is not from us, unfortunately. And this is what will make a big difference if we are to become a self-reliant nation, a nation to look at, which actually the world is looking at us today, because they all are so much saturated. They see India as the biggest market. So it is a big opportunity for us. If we don't do it now, I don't think this opportunity is again going to come. So changing our mindset to the innovative product design rather than contract manufacturing. You take several companies today, what they are doing is mostly they are contract manufacturing to somebody's design. Right? So changing this mindset to the product innovation and becoming self-reliant is something I'm also mooting, because it's my personal thoughts. So I'm also putting this through IMTMA and machine tool companies, and let's see, I think we can make some difference.
Absolutely. As you rightly put out that this is a journey. And those steps is what I understood that you have already started initiating. And this change of looking towards ourselves and building this confidence that we are in a position to deliver and we will be able to. So, chalta hai, ab nahi chalega, humko kuch karna hai. That kind of mindset is coming up, and I think that is really very, very important. Thank you. So we go
one last question, 30 seconds each. All of you, all four of you, will start with Kamana and then...
You can start from there. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Start from her.
We'll start from?
From ma'am.
From Mohini ji. what advice would you give to young women engineers, young female engineers, who would like to build their career in manufacturing leadership, technology leadership?
I truly feel and believe that the younger generation is much smarter than me and the older generation. So, no advice, frankly. Really no advice. I mean, even in IMTMA, I'm saying that the oldies should take a backseat now. Give the chance to the new generation. And this is what exactly I have done in my company. My son Samir has taken charge as CEO, and so I'm on the backseat. I'm not in the front seat anymore. So for the young generation, they are really good. Keep faith in yourself, believe in your idea and pursue it. That's it. And I'm sure you are the future of India. Yeah. Thank you.
So I wouldn't say advice, but some thoughts that you should, consider. Get your hands dirty. Go out in the field, get your hands dirty. You need to understand how work happens on the front line. Because as you grow through your careers, the one differentiator that will make you stand apart is how well you're able to connect the dots, how well you're able to see around corners, and not be siloed, right? And for that, you need to experience how work happens on the front line, because that's where the impact will be. Whatever initiatives you drive, unless the front line, the way they work, the way they deliver improves, no transformation is going to be successful. So get your hands dirty, go deep. At the start of your careers, go as deep as you can before you start going broad. Because when you know your business, when you know your field, that's when you can really grow. So be humble, be curious, get your hands dirty, be on the field, learn as much as you can, and that's when you will start seeing things at a bigger picture, and then moving forward. So that's.
So, as ma'am said, no advice to the young talent, okay? But on the personal front, specifically for the females, I would say, for Indian females, life is still a juggling, You are juggling with multiple priorities, you have multiple balls in your hand, your family, your kids, your old age parents, and you want to make your career. It's very important that you are sometime really juggling in a right way and prioritizing the right ball at right time. I have seen, even if we see the ratio of women returning after maternity, it was 22% till 2021, with lot of efforts, industry putting flexible working culture and so on, it has moved to 28%. Still we see there is a big gap, women returning after maternity. And hence it is very important that we are prioritizing right thing at right time. If we want to take a step back for a year or so, it's not wrong. It's okay. But don't stop your career. Don't stop your career. Build a support system. Build a support system. It's very important that you are coming back. But don't take the step back on your career. That's one advice.
Thank you. Last word from
Again, thoughts, not advice. And going back, I think I did that purposefully this time around because I wanted the major parts getting covered in. And I'll go backwards because it's all relatable for all women. Being bold in her journey is what I picked up. What she rightly said, that pick up, today women are very ambitious. It is good to be ambitious. But I think somewhere we as women need to be more resilient and more empathetic and be more progressive in our mindsets of working in an ecosystem, not alone. In my journey, I have actually changed jobs when I was in my motherhood journey, all of the time. And I always thought, and gone are the years where people used to change and think it's going to be easy. I always had the maximum change in my career happening the time when I had my 2 children. And today as well, I juggle in, as I'm in this role, I have really young children back home where I have to rush back. And I'm getting those calls in. So as women, she's right, it's very, very important. I was fortunate enough, I see always a woman is successful not because there's someone behind as a woman, it's a complete support system behind that women. It's your family, it is your advisors, the champions, the mentors who are supporting it. But as women, please don't overexert yourself as well. So as she rightly said, I had a support system, I was fortunate. If you do not have a support system, please don't get worried to take a pause. I said debug yourself before debugging code, which means understand your mental health, your physical health. Your self-care as a woman is very, very important at that junction of time. Even if you pause your career, you can pick that up back. Today, we are very, very fortunate in an era where there are companies coming back and taking women back from maternity leave. And I'll share my own EA is a person, she's come back from maternity leave with 2 twins. But again, we take a pressure back, right, as women that, oh, we have to come back to work, we have to keep the ambitions intact, but prioritize yourself, prioritize your journey, look at what is available for you and then take the call, whether I need to take a break, whether I need to continue. Your journey will anyways continue. If you are, I was discussing with someone, she said, what is it that we need? If you have your core right, your knowledge in, you're always learning, you're relevant, and you have the right intent and humility, supporters in the ecosystem, advisors who in the ecosystem will automatically notice the shine you have. And the paths will go ahead. Challenges will anyways come. You will get the first opportunity, you will enter in a boardroom, you will enter in a shop floor where people around will still have that mindset. That's absolutely okay. That's absolutely. That's the next challenge to build up your muscle in. Right? So I would say for women, it's very important to keep the prioritization intact. Lastly, you are a woman, you are not a man. So don't compete, complement. You have your own qualities, and which is why what you bring on the table for work is unique. So please complement, do not compete. And this I learned from a man. I learned from a man, you don't need to be the man in the room, you need to be the woman in the room.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this actually, to summarize this discussion, is another long form of AI. These are all actionable insights. Please give a big round of applause to all of them. Over to Sharayu.
So thank you so much, everyone. I think all of us are going to be taking back a lot from this discussion. I'd like to congratulate all our winners once again. So can we just have a round of applause for all of them? Thank you to our jury members for taking time out, and and for each and every one of you as well for taking your time today and coming. Thank you, Mohini ma'am, for coming, and I think you have been an inspiration for everybody right here. And thank you, Dattatreya sir. Thank you for all the technology partners, media partners who are present here today. And I think last but not the least, I'd like to thank the entire team that is behind all of this. And we have been working, I think Ankita here has been working for the past several months. And I think and somewhere we knew that it was going to be a success. So thank you so much for all, in participating and making this happen. If it's okay, I would like the entire team to come up on the stage who has been behind, for this program. So Ankita, please, and we can have a group picture. Dattatreya sir, please do come. Natasha, Akansha, if you're there here, please. So yeah, and also not to forget, lunch is arranged, so please do have your lunch and go. I'm sure everybody's hungry by now. Thank you so much everyone for coming in. Thank you.